We often look at the world around us, the constant chase for happiness, the complex web of relationships, the material comforts, and we find ourselves asking, is this all there is? Most of us look for answers in the safe, familiar patterns of everyday life, but my guest today did something entirely different. She chose to take what she beautifully describes as a leap off the cliff, directly into the valley of deep spirituality, devotion, and inward renunciation. I'm completely humbled and deeply honored to welcome to the Plus Jungle Show, Katyayani. Katyayani is a brahmacharini, aka a Hindu nun, walking on a path of intense devotion and austerity that many of us view with a sense of mystery. How does someone pivot from seeking fulfillment in the material world to dedicating their entire life to the divine? Today, she unlocks her mind and her remarkable life story for us. We dive into her early days of constant self analysis and that pivotal mystical moment where her physical body was trembling with nervousness, but her soul was jumping with joy just before meeting her Guruji for the very first time. We talk about the beautiful significance behind her saffron robes, the reality of navigating finances in a spiritual world without needing to escape to the mountains, and whether walking this path as a woman this demands a different kind of inner willpower altogether. Now, this episode isn't about escaping responsibilities, it's a profound master plan of evolving closer to the soul. So, please open your hearts and minds to this incredibly grounding conversation with Katyayani. Jai Gurudev, welcome on the Plus Jungle Show. I'm so honored to have you. And if I would pronounce your name correctly, that's Katyayani, right?
Right. Yeah.
Um, I am I'm truly humbled by your presence on the show because I mean I've never had someone like you fill up the seat and talk about and also be ready to share the knowledge with all of us um for the lifestyle that you live. But before I start this episode, I just want to start with and open this podcast episode with a quote that comes from a book which is Practice of Brahmacharya by Swami Sivananda. And I would just quote him right now, and it says that practice of brahmacharya, 8 siddhis and 9 riddhis roll under the feet of a true brahmachari. They are ever ready to obey his command. The Lord of Death Yama flows away from him. Who can describe the magnanimity, majesty, and truth glory of a real brahmachari? So this is what this book has mentioned, and in terms of brahmachari or brahmacharini, though they only mention brahmachari in this quote over here, but they also obviously have a section for brahmacharini. So I wanted to start this because I'm just first of all I'm very humbled for your presence because I always look up to people who kind of follow this austerity, this path of devotion for their guru and for their Lord. So thank you very much to be on the show.
Thank you for inviting.
All right, so I would dive directly into the conversation before. But normally, I always go back to the early days of life, but I think I will shift some gears over here for this podcast and I will just get into the conversation. So, obviously, when I looked at you, and anybody looks at you, this is like, why are you wearing just the yellow color? Could you talk directly from there? And then we will slowly unlayer the life and what was this, where did it start and your early days. But we will do that later. So what is the context of the yellow robes or the yellow dress that you wear?
So, Decorative, again, in our Hari Bhakti Sampradaya, our Sadguru Paramahamsa Sri Swami Vishwananda, he defined that the colors of yellow, red, orange, and recently was added white color to the gradation of initiations within Bhakti Marga, within Hari Bhakti Sampradaya. So, and yellow means a brahmachari or brahmacharini. It's the one who is having the same vows as a devotee, as initiated devotee, plus a vow of celibacy is added to the all the vows which are given as a devotee initiation. Yeah, if we look at red ones, these are rishis and rishikas, and orange are swamis and swaminis. And since last year, I mean, since the beginning of this year, we got also white ones, which are pandit and panditas, which
Hmm.
are um, having the role of almost Swami and Swaminis, but within the family, so being married.
Mm-hmm.
This is something new. Yeah.
All right. And so it's basically all times, this is the color that you have to adorn basically to yeah, to conduct your life basically in this brahmacharini status, if I would say that.
Most of the times, other than that, our brahmacharis and brahmacharinis also work outside and live outside
Mm-hmm.
often, and to sustain our living ourselves. So being taking responsibility for our well-being, and it means we need to go to work outside.
Mm-hmm.
And this is also if the situation is not allowing to wear all the time yellow
Mm-hmm.
and tilak, then we wear neutral colors, and some element of yellow should be also present there.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you basically try to have a part of yellow within your dress code as much as you can.
yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, fair enough. I think I don't know why people have this thought process that when you are living a life of such a big devotion, or you are devoted to a path like this, a spiritual path basically, then you're not supposed to have this material attachment, or they look at it as a as not me, but I'm talking about people, and I know of people when they um look at someone like this and they say like, but you are a brahmacharini now, why do you need this to to work outside and things like this, which I kind of don't resonate with that idea, because for me, I think it all goes hand in hand. It's not necessary that you renounce the world and start living in a mountain cave or something like that to live a life in terms of spirituality. Um, do you come across such people, or do you face such challenges when you are you questioned in that context at times when they come to know about your practice, and at the same time you're also trying to balance it out with your with a normal living for every like all of us do basically.
Yeah, actually, I was the first one who was not from the beginning understanding how is it possible, yeah,
Mm,
to be a brahmachari and live outside and to sustain yourself. Of course, we all understand that it's much more easy to live in the ashram and to be a brahmachari, brahmacharini, and to do seva inside the building, to communicate only with the brahmacharis and brahmacharinis, yeah, and basically visit prayers and do the guru's work like physically, yeah, like what is like to social media when is needed to build the temple, to serve in the temple, to lead the prayers, yeah, to sing, to learn the bhajans. This is literal service, yeah, but there's also so many services which are outside the building. And
mm,
of course, it's already becoming more difficult for those who are living outside as brahmacharis and brahmacharis. Of course, it's more challenging for the mind, and it's more challenging for the whole existence of the whole principle of brahmacharya. But we see that in the modern world, um, to sustain an ashram, to sustain a huge building in the middle of the Europe,
mm-hmm.
it's a lot of finances is needed, and
Exactly.
yeah, and it's not a cheap thing, yeah, to sustain an ashram in the middle of the Europe,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why it's just not possible for like physically, yeah, being grounded, speaking not only spiritually, but it's just physically not possible for the organization as itself to sustain brahmacharis and brahmacharinis. It means that, and there are so many of us in the world, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and it means that us being brahmacharis, following the vows of brahmacharis, we are going outside in the world to do the work of the guru,
Mm,
but but doing it in the world, sharing it with the people outside, and supporting the ashram as much as possible, doing our seva and following the life of Brahmachari and Brahmacharini. Of course, it is becoming more challenging
Mm-hmm.
for others. I'm lucky one because I work outside, but it's actually not so much outside because it's still with gorgeous devotees and not far from the ashram. So I'm blessed in this way. But I know many others who need to go outside, like where there are no devotees and normal people. And this is actually what is worthy of big respect and yeah, because I think they have really not easy time working there outside and living the life of brahmachari and being focused on the path and being focused on the guru. Yeah, but still Guruji supports us a lot, and he really um, it gives us this opportunity to become in this way independent on, let's say, someone who might give you donation or might not give. And he's given us opportunity to become strong not only spiritually but also materially. You know what I mean? So it doesn't mean that this material, the goal of going to work is becoming completely different from those who live a life of like normal life outside. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
have when people have like they want to buy a car just for the sake of having a car, yeah, or to like the latest beautiful, or to buy a house for the sake of buying a house, like, oh, look at me, I have a beautiful house. No, but in our case it's becoming the goal, the motive, and the reason, and the result of, if needed to have all that, is serving to the guru and to God. So if for your service is needed to have a room, you
Mm-hmm.
need to pay for it. So to pay for it, you go to work to pay for your room, to render service to your guru and to the mission, yeah, to people. And if you need a car to drive to work, yes, you have a car, but it's of course it's simple, quite a city car, but it drives. It has four wheels.
Yes.
It has working
Windshield,
front mirror
wipers. Yeah. Um.
wipers. Yeah, so what else is needed? So that's the key sense. It's becoming like you have materially what is minimum is needed for you to sustain yourself for the sake of serving of your guru and the mission. Yeah, like
Okay.
that.
I think you very beautifully put it across that it's not about luxury. It's basically about the necessities, and basic necessities always, always, always the right thing to demand for or ask for, because I think that's the bare minimum a person can expect from their lives. And I think that's right. I want to just ask you about, you just mentioned about Guruji, and I can see his beautiful picture behind you. And I think he's smiling at you and us and me as well. But the thing is that, could you tell me a little bit more about when was your first time when you met Guruji? What was the year, and where were you at that time, and how did you meet him?
Yes, it's happened in 2011, and I was quite young at this time, but by this time I already um, had, let's say, a lot of disappointments in material life.
Mm,
And I had some experience in personal life. I had some experience of working experience. I had some, uh, how to say, things materially which I already had. But then I quite early realized that there is no happiness into that. And it's happened so that I lived in Russia with my parents, with my mom, and on material level, I had everything which I wanted to have, yeah. And at certain point, I felt that the more my parents would fulfill my desires, the more my greed would grow, and the more it would be difficult for me to think about something else. And I think these realizations and this feeling is also how the grace of the Sadguru is coming, even before he's coming physically in my life, yeah? Because the Sadguru, he's guiding us since many, 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 many lives, yeah? And he was already there, present, as inside of me, I guess, as these realizations, as Buddhist, as the sense of discrimination, yeah? And then I realized that what is the happiness in heaven? Like my family, they all had nice place to live. They all had cars. My sister got a family, which is nice family. I was observing all that, and I could see that that's not my happiness. That's not what will make me happy. Yes, you see, people are happy, but I see that I wouldn't be happy into that, and I already tried also a few relationships, and then I felt that no, that's not the way. Must be something else in life, much deeper than just all this, but I didn't know what is that. And a certain time came, as it is said, um, when the disciple is ready, when the soul is longing for God, then the God sends Sadguru on earth, and then the time comes when the soul is ready completely. Then Sadguru comes in the life of the disciple, yeah, or the devotee, and and must be my soul was already longing for God and for Him for so long, without realizing that it was longing for the Sadguru. And yeah, I felt that if now at that time I was in a relationship, like a few months before meeting Guruji, I was in some relationship, and then I felt that it's not leading me anywhere. There's nothing good into that, and that it's toxic, and I'm not progressing at all. So there was this feeling of progression, like I have to progress I didn't understand how, but like the feeling was I have to progress, I have to progress. It was there. And then I felt that this is not bringing me nowhere, and I have to finish it. And such a deep knowing was there that when it will be finished, the one who knows how to live differently, he will come. But I didn't know who is that. I didn't know even the word guru, I think, by this time. I didn't know, like, yeah, how it will happen. I just knew that, this inner calling of the soul, when you just know that once it's finished, he will come. I didn't know who he, but he will come. And it happened, so like after, I think, 1-2 months after I finished this relationship, the invitation came to me to visit Om chanting, which is one of practices of Atma Kriya Yoga, which is given by Guruji in our city. And there I met for the first time devotees and saw Guruji's picture and the picture of Mahavatar Babaji. And just the explanation that we sing Om, we chant Om with the blessing of the masters. We invoke the masters with the masters in the beginning, and then with their blessing, with the chanting of the Om, the negativity which is inside of us and inside of those with their radius maybe 2-4 kilometers is transformed. So it's basically, it is seva, it is service, not only to yourself but also to the others and to Mother Earth.
Nice.
And this already resonated a lot with me inside, because I used to sing a lot, like in the basically from the childhood. I was really enjoying singing and sing, because it was something what would connect me with my heart, probably with my soul as well, and something which was connect me with the divine. Yeah. And yeah, and already then I felt that this is what I was looking for. It was already one more step towards, like I felt I'm coming closer and closer, to the true goal of life, which I didn't
Mhm.
know what it is, but I
Yeah.
just felt inside that it's coming.
Yeah, very beautifully
Yeah.
explained about how you felt this, because you could have given a short answer like, that you da da da, you went to the Om chanting and this is how you met him and but the way you expressed was really, really beautiful about what you're longing for, that thing, for something that was missing, but you did not know what it is, and you were just thinking that someone will come or something will come. Was it always, did you ever think that what you're thinking in that moment when you were thinking like this, did you ever think it's going to be another relationship that's going to come your way? Did you have any sense of a spiritual a spiritual coming, like a Sadguru coming? Did you have, I know you said that you do not even know the meaning of guru at that time. I understand that part. But did you have any sense of spirituality in that coming, or you thought, or you only had this thinking that it's some kind of a relationship, or it's some kind of a something from the normal materialistic world, where the world that you understood? Do you thought that something is coming from that same world, or did you think that it was coming from, or something different is coming which you have no idea about? Or is this the way you thought about it, if I can not confuse you further with that question?
Yeah, it's exactly that. I was feeling something mystical actually is coming. I didn't know, like I didn't practice yoga and I didn't meditate intentionally or consciously. I only did some practices on in the theater because I was playing in the theater of plastic and pantomime, and then we would meditate on different feelings, on different emotions, but nothing higher than that. So you
Mm-hmm.
meditate and then you try um, to send the same emotion or to express it inside of you, and then send it to the one who is looking at you, yeah, to the audience. That was the kind of meditation I did, but nothing more than that. And I felt deep inside of me that something more than that is coming, something deeper, mystical, and higher than just emotions, just material enjoyments, because I already experienced all that and I didn't find happiness in that. And yeah, something deeper, something much deeper than that. Yeah.
Nice. Did you have any experience before you kind of met, I mean, got to know about Guruji before that Om chanting session? Did you ever get a chance to, or if you can recollect any moment from your life before that, if you had any chance of listening to bhajans or kirtans, or coming across something related to Vaishnav sampradaya, or any other sampradaya in terms of spirituality?
Yeah, actually, in my life, maybe 1 year before meeting Guruji, appeared a friend which was older than me, and somehow I always had friends which are older than me, and she was esoteric, let's say. She was uh, enjoying self-development or reading books about um, self-grow, yes, spiritual grow, but nothing concrete. And she was actually given me as a gift, maybe 1, 2 years before meeting Guruji, a book of Osho.
Mm,
And I
the
don't remember
famous.
what was that exactly, but
Mm,
yeah, this was the first, let's say, wind which is coming from the direction of Sanatana Dharma, yeah, and self grow. And
mm,
already there, I found some something deeper. Like I was like, oh wow, it's possible. Okay, so you can think like this, and it's really exists. It's not nothing that you create it in your mind, but it really exists. And there are other people who are actually also thinking in the same way. Like that there is something deeper than just that which we all know with our material eyes, yeah, with our
mm.
physical eyes, with our five senses, that there is something more than that. And this already started to open up a little bit my consciousness to sorry
Sure.
in uh, in this direction of looking at yourself as a soul and looking at life as something deeper than
Yeah.
than that. Yeah, and and actually she was the one who who showed me her friend who was going to Om chanting. So actually,
Okay.
that friend of her invited me for Om chanting. And you see the
Hmm.
divine planning, actually. Everything was perfectly divinely planned and absolutely mystical experience because before that, I never experienced something like that. Yeah. And you see
Okay.
how the master plan is guiding you. Yeah.
I think the master plan was activated long back, and I'll get to that part right away because I'm talking about, I think when we were having this call earlier to talk about this podcast, I think I was asking you about your early days, and you had mentioned me something about. So my question was that at that point of time was that basically, did you have a spiritual upbringing? Did you like growing up, could you take us a little bit in back in time and tell us about a little about your growing days and how was that? Like, what were you as a child? Were you still spiritual? What were you doing in Russia? How were your days, early days, growing up in school and college?
Mhm. So, I wasn't super spiritual like in my childhood, but there were times, maybe before teenage age, when I was even teenage, maybe 14, 15, I was watching the movies. As you know, in Russia, there is the predominant Orthodox Christianity
Mm-hmm.
religion.
Mm-hmm.
And my parents were not so religious, and especially that the fact that after Soviet Union times, because during Soviet Union times there were no churches officially opened. Yeah, they were trying um, to put God out of the system of mentality of people, but it was not possible. And of course, many churches were still like hidden or present. So, and my parents, they being the children of the Soviet Union, let's say, they were not so much religious. Yeah, although my mom, she brought me to the church a few times in the village, and as well as she brought me at school. There was a class of how you say religion, let's say, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and she chosen for me that I should visit that. And actually, already there was the little Bibles for children. Already reading that, I started to feel that love, and I started to feel the love for Jesus, and I started to feel the love for this way of thinking, like of becoming better personality, or looking at yourself, or seeing the examples of the saints, let's say. And of course, watching the movies about Jesus, this would invoke something very deep inside of me. And I remember how I was looking, and of course all the time crying, because it's so touching, like the life of the master who came on earth to for the whole humanity, and how humanity actually didn't appreciate him, yeah, before he died, before he sacrificed himself fully, and how only a handful actually people could recognize him and follow his teaching, and change their lives for the better, to become better human beings. And this was actually my regret during those days, that how much I wanted to live with the master, thinking about Jesus,
Mm-hmm.
to change myself for the better, to become a better human being, first of all. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this was deeply engraved actually in my heart, that I really wanted to live with the master, to with
Yeah,
yeah
that's why I
with the
said that
living master.
yeah, that's why I said that Sadhguru's play was started long back when you were very, very young, and you probably couldn't understand that for sure. I mean, even nobody could understand that till you actually see it. unfolding in front of your eyes, basically. Yeah, so you see, the reason I was telling you is because I think there was this play of Sadhguru already happening, and that's the reason why I said that because you were already um, feeling that you want to be with the masters at a very early age, and I think that was basically the foundation getting ready for this life that you're living right now. Um, and so I wanted to ask you, like this between this period where you were watching movies of Jesus Christ and you were feeling this want to be with the masters, and between that period when you felt that something is coming your way, did you ever held it in a context of, okay, maybe something related to the masters is coming? Did you have any kind of idea about this in any sense? Because you had already tasted that feeling of being of that wanting or that longing for being with the masters. Did you think that something in that context is coming your way?
Actually, honestly, I don't think so because it was. I think maybe in these times I was thinking rather about a guide or maybe as a
Mentor?
friend or as a yeah, maybe those times I was still thinking maybe some wiser relationship, yeah, but not
Hmm.
directly about the
Master, spiritual
yeah,
master.
yeah.
Um, that sounds like then you were kind of surprised when you got to know about Guruji, and then so what was your first feeling when you saw him? Like, could you describe a little about that?
Yeah, it was again very mystical. Like how he brought me to the first meeting with him, it was everything was very very mystical. And actually, on the one of the Om chantings, they offered me to take a course of Atma Kriya Yoga, and it's something which Guru Mahavatar Babaji has passed and asked Guruji to teach it to the modern generations. Yeah, it's a bit different from the Kriya Yoga which Paramahamsa Yogananda was teaching,
Hmm.
and it's really updated to adjusted to the nowadays, to the speed of our lives and to the real values of nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Mahatma Babaji asked Guruji to teach it, and now since already almost 20 years, Guruji is passing this technique, but not himself so much. He was doing it till 2011. I think in 2011 he did it himself last time, like initiation itself. And later he initiated teachers in Atmakri,
Mm.
teachers who giving the blessing to pass the grace of the masters to the initiates, yeah, of the
Mm.
Atmakri Yoga. And actually, my meeting with Guruji was the initiation into Atmakri Yoga in Shaktipat, and this is super mystical, and I can see how he together with Mahatar Babaji, they together guided me through books, through another devotees, through life situations, and actually on that first meeting with the devotees during Om chanting, they showed me the book of Mahatar Babaji, where he sends the messages through his devotee. They're called The Unity with the Divine, it is called. And every message is actually the words of Babaji himself, which he channeled through Guruji's devotee. Guruji confirmed that it's pure channel, yeah. And this book is amazing because with the first message, already I started to feel that someone knows me
Mm.
and speaking to my heart, to my soul through the book. And
Mm.
it was so crazy because I never ever experienced something like this.
Mm.
And I read the messages, I was like, oh my God, finally somebody really understands me. The book, through the book. And it was Mahavatar Babaji. And on the second message, maybe Babaji is recommending to meditate on him in the heart for 30 minutes for 40 days. And I started to meditate on him, and it was quite easy because like the grace was there. It was the whole thing was super mystical and really deep, yeah, the experience. And so till the end of this book, I'm reading and meditating on Babaji. And meanwhile, they invite me to receive Atmakriya Yoga from Swami Vishwananda. Those days, he was calling himself, like we called him, Swami Vishwananda. And from him himself. And I was like, yeah, of course, why not? No problem. I didn't realize what it is and how much grace is there. I just agreed. I said, okay, let's do it. And coming back to the book with Babaji, Babaji is saying, my dear child, it will be very nice if after 40 days of meditation on me, you will receive Atmakriya Yoga, which how teaches it Paramahamsa Vishwananda, Swami Vishwananda, yeah. And it was so crazy because I counted when I finished the meditation on Babaji, and it was maybe 2 days after I would receive Atmakriya Yoga. And you could see, like, even with the book of Babaji, he was saying profound things for me, for my soul, which would make me feel that someone is really, really knowing me. And there was one message, you can't say it in words, it's rather speak from heart to heart, yeah, of master and the devotee and the soul. And one of the messages, I just started to cry because it was so about me. Like finally I found someone who really understands me, and even better than me myself. And continuing reading, and Babaji saying, my dear child, if you're crying now, it means that I lead your soul since time immemorial. And this deep mystical moment I saw all my life, like from those moments when I started to think that I did mistakes, because I was, since childhood, I was self-analyzing, like thinking what I would have done better. And yeah, and some guilty feeling was there. And he showed me that there was not a single mistake. Not everything you think which was a mistake, because everything brought you exactly at this moment, right now, right here, where you can meet me, Mahavatar Babaji, yeah, and in the future, Paramahamsa Vishwananda, your Sadguru. And this was very, very deep. And then I went to Moscow because I was living not in Moscow, in another city next to, not far from Moscow. And then we went there to meet Guruji, and it was my first meeting. And really, what a blessing it is to be in contact with the devotees before becoming a devotee yourself, because the grace is really flowing through devotees to the other people. And I could feel so much love, support, and family feeling already. Like I'm a part of it. I felt myself already that I belong there. I belong to the family. I belong to to Guruji before even meeting him personally. Yeah, and the family, the spiritual family, the devotees already, they brought me to the shop where I could buy sari to meet him. Like already everything was proper, sari, Punjabi, Hindu look, everything. Uh, like the dress code and the behavior was already nicely explained and supported before meeting him. And we came to Moscow, and this is the place where Guruji will be giving Shaktipat into Atmakriya Yoga and then Darshan. And they were putting on me my first sari. And I was so nervous, like, and I had a feeling that I'm getting married. And I think it's a very deep rejoicing of the soul, that finally, only now I understand what was that. Yeah, having the knowledge and the Guruji's explanation of about how it happens here with us when we meet our Sadguru. And it was really, my heart and my soul was very nervous, like my physical presence was very nervous, but I think the soul was just jumping and crying and screaming out of bliss and happiness, because finally I'm gonna meet the true beloved of my heart, of my soul, yeah, the only one. And but of course, like me being, I was 24 years old. Okay, I speak about the age. And at this, I'm going down, like very, very nervous actually, but not realizing what's gonna happen. I felt that from deep within, the feeling came that I'm gonna meet either my husband, or like, it's strange. You can't say about like this about the like physical body. You can say only that the soul is gonna meet the beloved.
Mm.
Yeah, like the Atma and Paramatma. And yeah, and I had a feeling that I'm getting married. Like it's like small feelings which are common, like associations with some experience in the material life. And then I'm coming to the hall where everyone is waiting for Guruji, and
Mm.
it's like only 35 people from from all Russia to receive like Shaktipat, the passing of the energy of the initiation of Atma Kriya Yoga from the master to the devotee, to the practitioner, yeah, not devotee yet. And yeah, and I was very nervous. I remember was looking at Babaji portrait, and Guruji was not coming, and then I saw Babaji portrait, and I said, okay, I can meditate on Babaji. That's what I can, how to pacify myself, to calm the mind. And yeah, going deep inside, I could feel Babaji in the heart. And then they finally say that Guruji is coming, please stand up. And when he's coming, he's entering the hall. The first, like the very, very first
Glimpse?
seconds,
Okay.
glimpse of second, yeah, thank you. It was, the feeling was, oh my God, because you know, the devotees, when they speak about the Sadguru, they describe um, his majesty, they describe his greatness, they describe um, the miracles which he performs, and everything. And you expect that now Maharaj is coming very like big and, you know, majestic, but it was completely opposite. He's coming and he's so he seemed to be small and simple and very humble. And I was like, oh wow. And he was so sweet and extremely sweet. And the second feeling was, my savior, finally you came.
Mm.
And it was, he gave me this feeling as if Jesus would come into my life, how I
Yes.
would meet my Jesus, and here Jesus meaning a master, yeah,
Yes.
I would meet him. And he gave me this feeling. And how it's, I don't know if you already opened our philosophy book, which was recently launched, Tadatmi Vedanta. There
No,
we use
haven't.
um, maybe soon you're gonna get it. And the feeling of deep recognition, which is coming from the deep within the soul, which is called pratyabhijna, the Sanskrit term, which is the recognition which is coming from deep within, and it's coming from the soul itself, not the mind. It's coming
Mm-hmm.
from the soul. You can't explain it with
Yes.
mind and five senses, yeah. And this was the feeling. This was deep recognition of the soul of my savior, yeah, of the one who
Mm.
came here for me. And then he's passing by, and he's looking at me and saying, do you speak English? And actually, I have just graduated from linguistic university by this time, but I was didn't have enough confidence in myself,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
uh, in the in the fact that I'm able to to speak English properly or to teach it or to study because I didn't have much experience, yeah. And already here, he started some process inside of me just with one phrase. It was his first phrase to which he told me to speak English. And yeah, and that already turning started that, okay, what does it mean? Should I go translate? What does it mean? Like, you know, how Sadhguru works. He drops something and then your mind starts to react on it, and then he sees how you behave according to your mind reactions. Yeah. And yeah, and then he gave Shaktipat into Atmakriya Yoga, the passage of the Shakti, which was totally divine experience.
So
And
he basically asked you, do you speak English? And you said yes. Or you said,
I said a little bit.
okay. And did he say anything further than that?
No, that's it.
Okay. Um, that's so beautifully expressed about how you met him. It was more, it was, for me, it was just like I was watching a movie and right in front of my eyes. I could see you and then Guruji and then you getting ready for your, as a marriage, as you said, and people kind of helping you dress up for the marriage. Um, but it's just like I also got quite emotional when you were expressing this because I could feel that from you. Um, but this is what connects me when I talk to people like you because I think that love for guru, uh, see, for me it's not about that he's your guru. It's that love that you have is just makes resonates with me because the way I have my love for my guru. So it's like I can resonate with that. I can feel it when you talk about it like that. And yeah, it just makes me emotional when you talk like this. So I just want to deviate a little bit so that I can change and distract my emotional mind. You said five senses right now. You said that it's not from the outer five senses, this feeling that comes from your soul. Could you describe a little about so as I know that you're a brahmacharini, which is basically you are practicing celibacy and you are basically having this lifestyle which you have chosen. And when you talk about five senses, do you think that you have a greater willpower because you have kind of accomplished what a lot of people want to, but they can't?
Um, I think I have a lot of grace.
That's very beautifully explained in one line that finished everything for me. But I would still like you to go a little deeper because I want people to know a lot about this. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if I would be able to do anything without this grace,
Hmm.
because honestly, um, living here in the presence of the Sadguru and of the spiritual um, gifts which he's giving without even saying us about this, he's just present there, and you have some inner struggle, and then suddenly you feel you think about him, you focus on him, and even without asking for help, he's already coming as a help. He's already, and this help is coming like as um, super, like maybe not even super, but a strength or power on the path.
Mm.
And I strongly believe that everything is just given by him. And recently I had experience which actually confirmed this inside of me, and then I saw how much I'm actually not able to do anything. Like, look, this body is given to us, like as Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, yeah. So to reach the human body, we went through 8.4 million births.
Right.
To um, to think about God, we also passed through so many lives without thinking about God. To start even thinking about God and to pray to Him, it's needed a lot of good deeds, yeah. And to
Mm.
start to be on the path of bhakti, to be on the path of the devotion, as Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, it's actually the highest grace possible. like
Mm.
to be on the path of devotion towards God or
Right.
towards the guru also, yeah, to the guru. And like the more diving deep into Guruji's teaching and into his knowledge about the self, about the God, about the relationship with God and the Sadguru, the more I start to realize, oh my God, how blessed and graced my life is. And first of all, to have the body,
Mm-hmm.
to have a human body which is relatively healthy according to nowadays standards,
Mm-hmm.
and to be able to think about God, it's already such a grace. And to be able to meet the Sadguru in the body, it is the rarest grace possible. And to live on earth with a living master, with the Sadguru himself. And to be able to, as again coming back, I'm quoting myself from the previous times, that to be able to live with the master,
Mm-hmm.
to change yourself for the better. And I see that how I myself, with who I was before meeting him, it's not possible that I'm able uh, to overcome the senses, to control my mind. In, of course, I'm far, 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 far from the perfect, uh, how to say, self-controller, but
Mm.
I see how much I improved since those days. Yeah, then I see that it's in no way possible by my own effort. When you reach your limit, and when you reach your limit, then you understand I can't do anything, nothing. Lord, it's only you. And then you see how from here the Sadguru brings you, and he pushes you higher and higher. And when you see that you can't, then you see how the grace is coming, and
Mm.
then the grace is carrying you, and he's carrying. And but the point is that it's crucially important to do our maximum from what we can so that the grace can carry us further.
Mm.
And recently I was reviving some Guruji satsangs, and in one of them he said that actually what we do is 25% what we can do for reaching the goals, our spiritual goal. 50% is doing Sadguru, 25% is doing our Ishtadev, or the deity to which
Yeah.
our Sadguru revealed to us, yeah, and 25% is our job. But within this 25%, we need to do our maximum, our 100.
Mm. Yeah, so this is what actually I was actually trying to ask you is basically I completely resonate when you say that it's not you can't do anything without the grace of Guru because I have also experienced these things. But when it comes to breaking down in a way like if we can give something to the people, like do you think that, let me rephrase the question. So do you see people or sorry, fellow brahmacharinis or brahmachari, do you see that there is a certain kind of a common thread in terms of personality or the traits of personality that kind of helps being or living this life of a brahmacharini? Do you think that there is a have you ever experienced that oh, this is something very common between us? I know there is, I know you will say the love for Guru that is there, that is of course there. But is there something else apart from that you thought that, okay, this trait, if somebody wants to be a brahmachari or brahmacharini, do you think that there is a certain set of traits that a person can have or should have or understand that about himself or herself?
Hmm. Yeah, I think definitely we have some qualities in common. It's, I would say, the setting of the priorities in life,
Mm,
and the higher taste, the taste for diving deep into relationship with God, with the divine within, and of course with the Sadguru, and to serve him, to
hmm
serve Sadguruji, and to serve the mission. And but the same qualities can be found in also in non-brahmachari devotees. Yeah,
hmm
but I think it is the priorities. Yeah, I think these
Mm.
are also the taste which we ever received for the divine, for the higher love.
Mm-hmm.
This can never be compared with any human love
Mm-hmm.
and with any human relationship. And I think Brahmachari is the one, or Brahmachari is the one who is constantly moving towards this relationship with the divine within, and setting the priorities in such a way that nothing stands um, between you and God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's neither relationship nor desire for material wealth, or even though it can happen that by punya or by karma it might arrive at your door, and the point is that what will you do with that, how will you, yeah, but it doesn't mean that you have to go into the forest and live into the cave. It
Mm-hmm.
means that what is actually inside of your heart, and how you build your day,
Mm.
what is the schedule of your day, when is you like directed to doing your sadhana, to do your service, and to think about God and to think about Guru.
Nice. When you said,
Yeah.
of course, I understand that you have, how do you say, these certain qualities that you just mentioned, which is basically someone who has to have this longing or go within or go deeper in terms of finding God. Um, do you think before all this, there is this seed of curiosity in a way in you as well? There was a certain set of seed of curiosity in your heart that kind of made you long for that. Because sometimes we just don't go so deeper within us. We just live the life over the surface without uh, understanding the depth of life, like going inwards and then basically having a seed of curiosity. Is that a trait that you see in your fellow brahmachari and brahmacharinis, that there was a seed of curiosity in their story, just like you had a seed of curiosity when you were growing up and you were reading or watching movies of Jesus Christ? Like, I think there was a seed of curiosity in you at that moment. Do you think that also like a common trait?
Might be, but the curiosity for the higher tastes, like, because what is the beauty of this path is that Guruji gives for the higher happiness, for the highest love.
Sorry, what you said,
But
Guruji what?
it gives
Guruji gives?
the
Ah, okay.
taste, or gives, let's say, demo version of how it could be. Yeah, like
Mm,
the majority of even devotees, we all experience that. And I think the brahmachari is the one who is giving everything for that, like for is ready to work hard. And brahmachari is the one who is ready to jump from the cliff, let's say, yeah, and to give everything, not even maybe outside, but internally, to give, of course, a lot of outside. But the most important renunciation is inward in renunciation.
mm,
Yeah, when you renounce family relationship, when you renounce any kind of relationship, even like we have friends, of course, we have rather sisters, yeah, and family relationship than friendship, I would say, yeah. And when you know, just okay, if needed, you just go inside and just you and your Lord
mm-hmm,
in your heart, which might not so much allow when you have a family life, when you have children, when you have yeah, all the other, so many
mm-hmm,
duties and things to think about, yeah. And for me it was the best, because I don't say that if you're brahmachari, like that you're spiritually more advanced. It's not like that, because there are so many um, saints who were married. There are so many, even in Maharashtra, yeah, like Saint Tukaram, Namdev, they all were married
mm-hmm.
uh, saints, yeah. And and also Guruji, as you see now, he brings also married pandits. Now we have new
Yeah,
even
yeah,
initiations with Bhakti Marga, yeah, and where he shows that nobody is excluded,
right.
not not, yeah, neither or be you brahmachari or be you married. It's just a way of life which you use how to connect with the divine. Because for me, it was the the best way. Yeah, I could see
Right.
knowing myself. But of course, first, before taking this decision, is to very important to observe yourself, to be honest with yourself, and to be courageous enough to accept that are you really ready to jump and give up everything, or at least to do your best to give up everything? Because, as I said, the complete detachment is coming only with the grace. We are not
Nice.
able.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's very true. What you said is just it's not just a certain trait. I think it's all about that want to probably give up everything for the path that you actually choose. And that brings me to the next question, is that basically, so as you mentioned that, it's not that you just mentioned that it's not that because you're a brahmachari, you are more closer to God, or it's not that you are, more, you have more leverage when it comes to the grace of God, basically. Um, do you think that, uh, like, why would a person, like, do you think that there was no sense of want from your side to basically take this step to become a brahmacharini? You just did it for the love of Guru, but there was no such, uh, how do you say, you don't have any greed for yourself that, okay, now that I become a brahmacharini, I may have more access to the Guru, or I may be able to be more closer to him, or anything in that sort. Did you think, or you just took that step so that because you felt that was the right way to live now?
Actually, there was some pre-story to that, yeah, to the final decision. And as I shared with you before, already within Bhakti Marga, I had a experience of being in marriage, yeah, and I experienced it within, like within the spiritual family, let's say, and it was also needed for me. And I see how Guruji guided me to go through this experience to one more time understand that actually that's not my path, because I still had some, of course I'm not like from the beginning super detached, and yeah, I don't want anything. I still have five senses. I have the mind, which is still not perfectly under control, yeah. And as we were speaking about before, yeah, that uh, I would call it like, but this is purely my perception, yeah, like you have the body, you have the mind, you have the senses, which is connected with the body and the mind. Then you have the higher self or the soul, yeah, which is the desire of which should be actually taken into the account the most, because to live the human life, especially near the Sadguru, this is one of the rarest things which can ever happen in human life. And this happened that I already was not in the marriage anymore, because I realized that that's not gonna work for me. Yeah, and then I was still in the process when I was not 100% sure yet if I'm gonna become a brahmachari or if I'm still gonna have a family. And but the more I was going on this path, because my body was saying one thing, but my soul and my heart was calling me to God completely, to give myself fully. And it happened so that in 2022, um, but actually, Guruji would never tell how to say. He would rather play his lila, play his game with me, so that he wouldn't say directly that I should be brahmachari. He would rather put gear into the fire of the opposite direction. He would do that and see how I react, and what is my true wish and what is my true desire. So he was actually testing me till the very initiation itself, I would say. He would no, there was some time when he would say, yes, just take it, the decision, and follow it and follow your heart. And he was supporting a lot when I took the decision. But before I took the decision, he would actually trying to see if I'm really ready for this path, for this step, and if I'm ready to do my best to give up everything. Yeah.
So
And
then what? Hmm.
yeah, and what's happened is that Guruji always speaks about death, because this is something which is inevitable. We all will die. And when it will happen, we don't know. Maybe tomorrow, maybe in 1 month, maybe 1 year, maybe 10 years, 20 years, nobody knows.
Mm.
And what have we done with our life? What if it is tomorrow, or what if it's very soon? And this actually makes me reflect a lot about that. And more than that, what happened, it's in 2022, as you remember, they started the war between Russia and Ukraine. And this actually affected me deeply in the heart, because um, for me and for many people, it's one whole. It's like the closest brothers. Like if
Mm.
uh, folks wise look at
Hmm.
the situation, it's the closest brothers, and many have relatives in both
Yeah,
countries.
both countries, yeah.
And this actually, this struck me deeply in the heart. And I remember here in Europe there was, let's say, anti Russian movement, let's say. Yeah, like
Hmm.
when there was time when they if they heard people speaking Russian, they're like, I never met it myself, but some people who live outside, who study, they said that few things were
Yeah,
happening.
they
And
experience
this,
some things, yeah. Okay.
yeah, and then I thought, okay, what if this is my path um, to reach God, to become closer to God? What if I'm supposed to become a martyr? What if I will meet tomorrow someone who will be against me
Mm. As an
as an
enemy, yeah.
carrier? And what have I done with my life? Okay, I just accepted the fact that I might go through uh, the suffering of how to say, of normal people, like
Mm.
whoever would be my situation as a
Yeah, you might face the kind
little
of
girl.
brunt of the war, basically, yeah.
Yeah. So, and then I started to think, okay, what if I'm supposed to suffer, and what if I will die soon? And then I thought to myself, okay, actually, the best what I have done with my life, what would be for me, is actually to try to surrender myself fully to the Lord, to the Guruji, to Sadguru. And you never know, will it be tomorrow
Mm.
or not? And like, and to live each day as if it is, I'm still not there, but it was like the also one of the motivations to live each day as if it's the last day. And I imagine what would be the best for me if
Hmm.
it would be the last day which I will be living. And that was one of the last drops on my final decision to take brahmacharya vows. Yeah,
Okay, so that is what basically drove you to take that step that okay, now that's it, like what if life just stops here now at this moment? I just want to like I just you just probably got a shock of your life that okay, I would be like what I just wasted my life and I came back. So you thought that okay, now that I have this life, now that I am still alive, I would rather give it to my guru and Sadhguru, because in that moment you felt like what if this was your last day, then you would definitely repent on what you could not do for so many years. So now you thought that this is your chance basically to basically not repeat the same mistake in a
exactly.
way, in a way. Um, well, definitely there are many questions that I have and probably a lot of people have, because celibacy is very, very delicate as a topic itself, and as also as a person living that kind of life, and nobody better than you can understand that or describe that. Um, I definitely want to dive deeper into these intricacies of living a life as a brahmacharini, and especially in today's world when everything around you is not basically helping you sustain that brahmacharini. It's basically you're fighting against something every single day, which is because very in the modern world is very open and there are many things available on the internet. You can get driven by lust, greed, everything, and there's everything at our disposal to get carried away, but you're still maintaining that lifestyle. Now, I also want to talk a little about, do you think that being a brahmacharini, and this would be my last question for this part one, but then we can continue in part two. But do you think that being a brahmacharini is only from the outside? What are the changes that you think have come across within you after you adorned these yellow dresses? Was there a change when you were initiated, when you started wearing this? Was there a certain change inside of your heart?
Yeah, for me, yes. And it's very subtle because um, actually I lived this life for already few years. Yeah, this style of life. And my relationship with Guruji was always like inwardly very personal, and with the divine, with Krishna, with the divine, whichever form you adore in your heart. And but this, I would say, it was for me like I could feel him more close in my heart. And it's like cut, when you do your best to close all the other doors, and then you dedicate yourself to one goal, to one purpose, and to, yeah, to the service of the Sadguru, to love of the Sadguru, and to his teaching
Hmm.
in your heart every day, and ideally every moment of your life. And this is where the sadhana, and this is where the focus on his teaching, constant focus on his teaching, ideally, yeah, this is what drives my life, and this is what um, puts ghee into the fire of love, of relationship with the Sadguru and with God. And this is what the advantage of the Brahmacharini life actually is. It is to don't have like the necessity or duties to open up other doors. So basically, you're free from the social duties as of being family person, of being I don't know, the mother, the wife, or whoever it is. You're basically free from that, and it is so beautiful because it means that now you have time. I have time to dedicate even more um, to Guruji and to the path, and it is official. So I don't need to think that I need to find someone. I don't need to think that I need to sustain family, and I just can focus on him and on the path, and this is very, very beautiful. And this is what I appreciate a lot in
But do you think that's like escaping from, is that like an escapism for you? Do you think like that? Or do you think that's more out of a devotion that you feel like, no, this is not for escaping from some kind of duties of being a mother or a wife, or, is that running away from that, oh, I don't want to handle this kind of responsibility, and that's the reason why this is the best way because I feel, um, yeah, this just helps me in a way. I know it's not easy to be a brahmacharini. It's not that you are escaping to make your life easier. I think it's also very difficult to be. I mean, actually, for me, it's actually like it's a step forward for me personally. If I talk about myself, it's like the one step that if I could take, I would be in a different way, in a different lifestyle right now. But I can't take that step, and that's the reason why I'm not there at the moment. But yeah, do you think that did you take it as an escapism, or you think that that's
it.
not?
It's not. I think if I would have taken this step earlier, without experiencing what I have experienced, and without yeah, making some conclusions and lessons of the life before taking the step, those days it might be that, but maybe some part of escape would be there. But because realizing many things in practice, in experience, I actually think that it's not an escape. And I really see it now as a grace, because the longing of the soul, of the heart, it was always there. And but how much we associate ourselves with the body, or we associate ourselves with the soul, and we're ready to hear the call of the soul and to follow it, or we're still preferring to stay in our lower nature, our physical nature and body nature, and to follow the call of the body. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
this is the choice which we all can make. And I lived also the choice of following the body. I lived also, I experienced that. And after experiencing that, I see that I don't want to that, like, I don't want this to be my goal. It doesn't mean that I still don't have like the
Yeah, yeah,
calls
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
this is ripping me apart. Yeah, but um the goal. And as Gorgi said, this path is for really brave people, like the Brahmachari path, to take his path. This is really for brave people, because again, when you see that it's still working, you're still human, you're still alive. And the beauty of Guruji, following Guruji and being with him, is that he really appreciates us the way we are, and he doesn't expect us to be someone who we are not. And more than that, he really like appreciates our authenticity, our sincerity. And if I'm stupid, I come to him, Guruji, I'm stupid, I'm sorry, but when I'm honest and not pretending to be clever and intelligent when I'm not, this is what is really precious. And from here, actually, the work can start. When you're being honest, looking at all your negative and positive qualities, and seeing that, okay, I really want to transform this negativity and into my higher self, into my um, divine qualities. And Gorji, here I am, please, I'm ready to
Mm.
work together for my transformation.
Yeah,
And
so I
love and
think, yeah, I think what you just mentioned about that, the reason I asked you this question is because a lot of people might think that this is probably an escapism, but which is not, because as you said, it's not easy to, in a way, you still have these senses around you, still it's still ripping you apart. This is what you said, and which is what I was trying to actually get the point out, that it's not actually escapism, because if you really wanted to escape, I think you would choose a life of being in a marriage or having that, because that would be more like a normal, very socially accepted, and very easily you can access a lot of things easily. You can also be a devotee and still come to the temple. You can still meet Guruji. You can still have your spiritual life. At the same time, you still have your family. You have your parents around you, and maybe your children's around you, whatever you must have had. But yeah, I mean, that for me would have been more escapism, even though I don't think that it's for each its own. I feel it's everybody's dharma is different, and that's the larger message actually also. But I think for you as well, as you thought that this is not my dharma, your dharma is basically to follow Guruji and just devote yourself completely. Um, and so, yeah, thank you for explaining that in a nice way. And I think we still have a lot of digging to do with a lot of questions about your life, and how you look at things and how you perceive things and how people perceive you as well. Those are also some questions that I want to ask you. But I think time being always is a constraint, we will wrap this here. And before we wrap the first part, is there anything else that you would like to add or tell the people out there?
yeah, I would say that it's the life, and the life choice on the spiritual path has a lot to do with your sangha, with whom you're in contact with your
Mm-hmm.
surrounding, um, with the presence of true spiritual master,
Mm.
and the priorities which everyone has and chooses to have in life, because we can choose
Mm.
to follow what to follow. and to remember that we can't actually escape or run from the call of the soul. And if
Hmm.
it's not gonna be fulfilled this life, then yeah, as Sanatana
Another
teaches,
8.4, another 8.4 million lives to come back to this.
maybe not that much, but but the chance is given now and here, and I think the best we can do is to be now and here and to do our best in now and here. Yeah.
That's beautifully explained and beautifully said um, about the 8.4 million lives. And please think about it before you do anything wrong in this life. Um, Thank you very much again for your precious time, and more than the time, I would say your presence, because of the way you conduct yourself and the way you are as a person, and you're all heart and you're all about Guruji. And I'm really glad to come across you first of all, and yeah, thank you very much to agree to share your insights about your life so openly with us.
Thank you for inviting and for opportunity to share. Because whenever we speak about our path, about God, about Guru, He's automatically present. And yeah, thank you
Yes.
for that.
Yeah, this is like a satsang also, so it's like a discourse. And I always think that whenever we start, like wherever I go, and if I start talking about my Guruji, I can start it like I'm talking about some normal friendship or something like that. It's always normal for me. So I do not feel that this was a question answer thing for me, because I think this comes straight from the heart, and you also answered with all your heart and nothing from your mind. So that's really beautiful.
Okay, Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev.